Question for the Christians, number 3. Here we go. If your God,
You don't have to say your God. It's just God.
all-knowing,
Uh-huh.
all-powerful,
Right again.
omnipotent God,
We're 3 for 3.
made all of us by his own hand. He created us exactly the way that we are. That's what you believe, right?
No. The problem is in your statement, exactly as we are, because that's not what Scripture teaches at all. God has created man in his own image. But the problem is, through the rebellion in the garden in Genesis 3, sin entered the world through one man and death through sin. In this way, death spread to all people because all sinned. Therefore, we don't operate in the same way that God originally designed us to. Sin means to miss the mark. We were not created to lie, cheat, to steal, to murder. This is why James says, don't say that God tempts me, because each person is tempted when he is drawn away and enticed by his own evil desire. He goes on to say that every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. So did God make us? Did he knit us together in the womb? Yes. But did he create us in the way that we are in reference to our sinful nature? No.
If your God made me into the atheist that I am,
Actually, you made you into the atheist you are today, because even though you knew God, you didn't glorify him as God or show gratitude. Instead, your thinking became worthless and your senseless heart was darkened. Claiming to be wise, you became a fool. And it's the fool that says in his heart, there's no God. Again, we're circling back to the sinful heart of man.
he gave me the free will to believe or to disbelieve.
Okay, which is it? Did he make you into the atheist, or do you have the free will to be an atheist?
When you pray for me, asking God to save me, how is that not a contradiction of your own God's will to have created me exactly the way that I am?
It's not a contradiction, because your entire argument is a non sequitur. It doesn't even follow its own internal logic. At one point you're saying you have the free will to be an atheist, and at another point you're saying that God made you the atheist that you are. The will of God is something that the people of God discern by not being conformed to this age, but being transformed by the renewing of our mind. And it is something that even the believer on a day-to-day basis will choose whether or not to submit to it. This is why Paul says to offer up our bodies as living sacrifices. Because part of knowing the will of God and ultimately following the will of God is to pick up our cross and die daily. Again, circling back to the sinful desires of man. The thing is, the people who are praying for you to be enlightened and come into saving knowledge of Jesus Christ, their prayers are working. It is working in the fact that you are being faced with the truth and the knowledge of who Jesus Christ is. But you have chosen to reject it rather than to embrace it. So trust me, prayer works.